So about a month ago, there was a post on Reddit detailing the win rates of each nation in ground RB. I normally do not look at these. However, one thing stood out to me. This would be the current win rates for US top tier from 10-7 to 12-7 battle rating. What was strange to me was that the win rates for top tier ground RB US has been consistently around 30% and below for the past few months, and Gaijin, the parent company for War Thunder, seems to want to do nothing about it. Whenever asking the player base on why top tier win rates are so low, the usual answers pop up. Those being that the other nations, particularly Germany and Russia, are too dominant, there are too many inexperienced players that make up these teams, or that there are too many bots plaguing the teams, and lastly, the current top tier US tanks are inaccurately modeled and therefore underpowered compared to the other tag trees. So I grabbed my M1A1 AIM and played a couple games of ground RB just to gather some footage. In addition, I borrowed my friend's account, whose social shall be linked on the description, and played his M1 clickbait and XM1 to see if there's anything wrong that might be causing the win rates to be so low. Now here's a disclaimer. I am not an expert in top tier ground RB. My specialty mostly lies in mid tier. However, I do have top tier tanks for multiple nations. I have grinded my way to top tier for Japan. I have gotten a couple Russian top tier vehicles. Most of them are event vehicles. I also have my M1A1 AIM, of course, and my Leopard 2PL and Vilkas. In addition, the footage that is in the montage will be cherry-picked footage. There are various games where I do well, and various games that just result in me dying, such as this.
Reaction time looks like
Oh, come on.
Cass, yep. C-24.
And so, without further ado, let's cue the montage. So what can I conclude from this gameplay? Well, for one, the M1A1 aim and M1 clickbait are not underpowered vehicles, that's for sure. These tanks are actually quite good, in fact. Especially with Gaijin giving a reload buff across all the M1 Abrams, they actually have quite a nice advantage over various tanks that they face. If I were to describe it as a Japan main, it would be like a Type 10, but the Type 10 had traded 1 second of reload for just extra armor. But this still poses the question of why US top tier win rates are so ridiculously low. To help answer this, I've interviewed a couple of people from my squadron SYD to help me out and find the answer. Through this, I have interviewed 4 individuals, and I shall link their username and information down below, as well as links to their social media as well. These 4 individuals are very experienced in the game. They're also really good and have quite the experience for top tier America.
Alright, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think top tier American win rates are so low?
Players. 100% the players.
Alright.
Reason being is just them being ass.
Yeah. Do you think it has to do with like the clickbait and the KVT M1s?
100% all the premiums. All they see is an Abrams, and they want to click on it and buy it. Then the rest of the people who either mine all their way to top tier suffers with 1 death and go. Players.
Yeah. A lot of these one death and goes. It really started out with the XM1 when you think about it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
It was all good because all the good players was in the M1 Abrams, the first one when it first came out. Then after that, when they started releasing premiums, that's when it all went to downhill.
Yeah. Like, there were other factors here and there, but like you could compare like the current M1 clickbait to like the Tiger effect of way back when people
With
just
the Tigers too slow.
yeah when people thought they were like invincible in the Abrams and then
And now it all went down to shit
yeah
in the very first day. And I guess some other players migrated to other countries because they found out that most of the US players are shit. Because they just either the level 14s playing Abrams, or I don't know. It's just one or the other.
So now that begs the question, do you think the US win rates could ever get better over time, or like it's just straight up like unfixable?
It will get better once either Gaijin releases another update where either the Abrams gets its realistic armor like the SEP V2 one, where it gets its DU armor in either the hull or even more in the turret area. At the same time, if they release a SEP V3 with a new round, new gun, new, I don't know, electronics, then maybe all the good players might come back to America instead of going either to Germany or US or USSR.
Alright, thank you, dude.
Of course.
Special shout out to Sam. Man is carrying the US top
Whole
10
win rate.
rates. Like, for sure.
Holy
for
shit.
sure. Why do you guys think top tier US win rates are so low?
It's quite simple, really, because of the M1A1 clickbait.
And also the aim.
Oh yeah, true.
US
And because
knows
American players are bad at the game.
the Abrams is one of the most known vehicles in the world. And any American knows it. They want to play it. They want to buy it. That's why Gaijin added it as premium.
Yeah, and
And
usually
they don't
when
have
people,
experience, so they're not good. And they don't help their team because they're not good. So the team does shit,
Uh-oh.
and then the good players don't have a team, so they do shit. So everyone does shit.
yeah, but what starts the issue really is like when players first like get the game, they don't really want to play low tier because a lot of people aren't really interested in it, so they instantly just gravitate to top tier, and the abrams is a quick way to get there. And so you have a bunch of new players who don't know how to play the game playing top tier, which requires a lot of knowledge which they don't have. So yeah.
So why do you think War Thunder US top tier win rates are so low currently?
Kids, marketing, and Gaijin. It all comes together. Think about it. Back in the day, we used to play tanks because they were fun. Now, people buy tanks because they look cool.
Do you think like the clickbait sales at this point with like the players, it's kind of similar to the coin tiger effect, where people just buy these Abrams and think they're invincible and then just automatically die, inevitably
yeah.
killing it?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like, we gotta take into the fact that this kid or this game is heavily marketed towards kids. So they see the little propaganda skits, and they're like, oh wow, I want that. And guess what? You don't have to grind for it. You can just buy it. So yeah, I think the propaganda and all the funny little like clips that get out, they're definitely heavily influenced people to buy these vehicles, thinking they can perform as similar as a real life counterpart, but they can't. So they complain and whine about it, and leave the battle after one death, of course. Like I said, they separated the teams, and Russia, in order to compete with America, got tons of technologies ahead of time. And like I said back then, Germany used to be a huge partner when it came to winning games, because whatever we couldn't, Germany could, because they had the great armor and the good maneuverability, while the Abrams was a little bit clunkier. And so, like I said, when they broke that apart, America just became full of teams that didn't want to play AA, didn't want to fire a maneuver, or just bought their way there instead of grinding there like the other people did, because, well, it's just easier. I mean, like, what would you rather do? Spend 5 months trying to get an Abrams, or spend $70 to $60 getting an Abrams? It just seems simpler, but what people don't understand is buying your way into a team does not mean the entire team is worth that price point. And ever since the two teams were separated, America's never been the same, because no matter how many veteran players you have on America, every other halfway decent and good player is playing Russia and Germany, because they don't have to think, because everything is covered. Their ground is covered, their air is covered, and their helicopters are some of the best. What is America left with? A very small amount of people who try to make America win, and the rest of the other people that just buy their way there. And it's just not gonna win, because, I mean, the kids don't care. You kidding me? It's a game after all.
I've hosted a poll recently asking the question on why top tier US win rates are so low. And the results are shocking. About 5% of people voted for the nations being too dominant. 8% voted for botted teams. 10% voted that the modeling for the tanks are inaccurate and therefore underpowered. And lastly, a whopping 77% of people voted that there are too many inexperienced premium players that make up the current teams. So what can I conclude from this? Well, the War Thunder top tier win rates aren't gonna be fixed anytime soon. With the advent of clickbaits and, future top tier American premium vehicles coming down the line, it's very likely that new players are just gonna buy their way to top tier, play a few games, die once, leave, and probably not play it again or keep dying and leaving. However, it doesn't always have to be this way. There are various ways that Gaijin could possibly improve the win rates of top tier US. One suggestion that went around for a time was to add game requirements, like an amount of game requirements to buy US top tier premiums. This is an unlikely addition to the game because Gaijin in the end is a company, and typically anything that would inhibit their profits would pretty much be a no-go. So that is very much out of the picture. Another suggestion would be to add something that would incentivize experienced players to grind out something that would provide the US top tier tech tree an edge over its other counterparts. And last suggestion I could think of, as we as a community can do, is to educate new players on how to play the game. There were various guides on YouTube way back when on how to play different War Thunder tanks, and those used to help out a lot. There are various TikTok videos that are quick demos on how to play the game. Some things like, making a how to laser rangefind tutorial, how to use thermals tutorial, how to play tutorial, like how to play various tanks on different maps. Those could possibly be a solution on how to help out with the US top tier win rates. But assuming that this is if they watch it. So, to round up this outro, I'm just gonna say that War Thunder, especially for top tier, the landscape has changed over time, whether it's a power creep cycle, various new premiums come out that just caused player base to implode on itself, or just Gaijin being Gaijin and not modeling things correctly or arguing with the community. It's always interesting to see how things play out from an outsider's perspective, that from a guy that mainly plays mid-tier. There is always an interesting conversation to be had about top tier. So that's all I have for today, folks. I will end up the credits. I will include the people that helped me make this video possible. And thank you, and good night, tri-state area.